Hello and welcome to Own It Magazine and Publishing. My name is Marisa Bludarn and I am your host. I'm so excited, as always, to be with you. Taking center stage and owning it with me today is the editor-in-chief of Off the Bench magazine. He is known as the speaker man, Mr. Mark Wiggins. Welcome, homeboy.
Buenos dias, buenos dias, buenos dias. How are you, Marisa? How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. Got a lot of things moving and shaking, as we know, but all things are good. All things are good.
Oh, I'm excited too. You do have a lot of things going. Before we dive in, I know that there are many people on our platform that already know you, but for those who don't, introduce yourself a little bit and let them know who you are.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Mark Wiggins, also known as the Speaker Man, speaker, author, coach, trainer, speaker trainer. I've been in the game probably well over 30 years as a speaker, doing all kind of speaking all over the country. International speaker, international author, best-selling author, several books, collab. I don't like talking about all those things, but I do like helping people to get their message out. One of the things I believe in standing on is people getting off of their bench, which is my mantra, has been since I started, getting you off the bench and into the starting lineup of life, whatever that may be for you. We look at ways to motivate people to get there. One of the things that we find is that our mindset is our biggest challenge, right? It's us, it's a you versus you battle. And so when I'm speaking or I'm training, what I'm really moving people to do is to win that battle first, and then you can go on and do other things. So again, I do a lot of coaching and do a lot of things with students and business and entrepreneurs, having owned a business. I own a cookie store. That's why they call me the Cookie Man before they call me Speaker Man, right? So I had to stick with that. And before that, I had a whole another line name, but that's another story. But in that space of having the business, and when I was there for the Unleash one, I'm sorry, Unleash two, I didn't make one, Unleash two, I talked about that journey of how losing everything and going back to get that knowledge to really rebuild and move forward was important, and how I avoided it for such a long time. But then embracing that journey allowed me freedom to talk to other people about going back into their journeys and putting their message together. So that's kind of what I do. Definitely motivator, speakers, what I love to do, helping people succeed. So that's me in a nutshell in a minute and a half.
Yeah, and what a powerhouse you are. I know we don't like to talk about the things that we do, but it actually helps people to understand how they can work with us. And that's so vitally important for people to know how to get off the bench, right? How do I get off the bench? And if you have those answers, they only know us when we talk about what we do. And you've done some amazing things. You are now doing a volume 2 of King Conversations.
Yes, yes,
One
yes,
of the
yes.
things that you decided to, do last year, we did it, and now you're ready to do a volume 2. Talk to the people. Start where you want to start in regards to where did this come from? This King Conversations topic.
Um, King Conversation, King Conversation started with my son. Long story short, these conversations have always been going on. They weren't just, something we started. And actually, I think it back a little further. My dad was having King conversations with me. I've written about it in books, talking about building decks in Cleveland, Ohio, and how that was more than just building a deck. He was teaching life lessons, like taking your time, measure twice, you cut once, basic. You think, this is hokey. No, no, no. These are fundamental truths in life. And so as my son got older, our conversations changed and got a little more in depth, more in depth. And so right at pandemic, God would have it such that he had to spend time with me. Or I like to say I spent a little bit of time with myself, because that's exactly who I was dealing with. And we would talk to him. He was about to enter college and make these next steps. And so we began to have conversations, and intentional conversations. He would like, hey, Dad, let's get something to eat. That is the buzzword for I want to talk. So we would sit out on the deck, and, my sons are older now. We were having cigars, sipping on cognac, a father's dream, right? I'm my son. And he began to pour out. And I began to back up, like, I got to really dig deep and give her more information. So King Conversation started with my son during that pandemic time. And I recognize that the knowledge I'm leaving him has to be a king. What a king would do, right? A king would have to prepare the next king to come up. The prince has to be ready to go in order to lead the nation or the country, whatever. So that's what I began to believe and talk about, is having these kind of clean conversations where men sharpen men, steel sharpen steel. There's conversations that moms can have with sons, and that's great and also necessary.
Yes.
However, king conversation is actually more important when it comes to men, because there's things that we can teach and talk about. So that's how it started. I contacted you about the idea, and you first ran it, and I'm trying to keep up with you. And we got the book turned, and the shock was how many men came out for the book. How many men said that this would be a great thing to do? We had, what, 31, 32 men from all across the country dropping in a chapter of wisdom and to make this book. The other original concept for this book, because I coached youth basketball sports, and all the single moms in the gym that were there, not a whole lot of dads, but a bunch of moms. And I wanted something that I could give to them, to give to their son, and say, you both read this. You
Yeah.
both read this. Not just for the kid. No, everybody needs to read it because it gives you insight. It helps you actually help. So there's some words and wisdoms. I mean, people talking about life lessons, how they grew up and their tragedies or whatever, and how they overcome. Because like I train my speakers in my core training program, people just want to know a couple of things. Basically, how you got over. They want to know that. How did you get over? What steps did you take to recover, to come back, to bounce back? And if you can communicate that to your audience, you've done a great deal. And they, from there, they can take that tool and apply it however they need to apply it. So that's the background of the King Conversation book. We actually did a magazine when we were doing a magazine together. The King's issue. I remember the first time we did the King's issue. King, get your crown. I was like, why is King got to get a crown? I said, hold on. I think what I told you was everybody talking about is really back when the girl, get your crown, fix your crown. Women fix. I said, hold on. I love that era of the king and the queen. There's two people that had crowns. Two. The king and the queen. And we only talked about the king. Well, where's the king crown? Where his crown? And so my
Yes.
point was, let's go back first and go find your crown. Where did you lay it down? Where did you leave it? How'd you lose it? You've advocated position. You've advocated power. You over delegated. You stepped away. I need you to go back and get that crown, bring it back. Let's fix it up, and then we'll put it on.
Yes.
King. So that's the again background of how King Conversation started.
Yeah, and there's a whole ceremony to crowning. So to say why not, it's the importance of being crowned and all that represents. That's what happens in the ceremony, the seriousness
Yep.
of the responsibility of the crown, right? That it's not about us. It is about us, but ultimately the ripple effect is not about us. How we show up is the blessing, because we get to be blessed by how we show up effectively, right?
Exactly.
And then everyone else gets blessed. And you already know my heartbeat without going deep into it. It's a priority to me for our men, our kings, to get healthy, not just about them serving us, but when they're healthy, they show up healthy. And when they show up healthy, they hit all of us. It impacts all of us. And so this to me is always going to be a top priority, because as the head goes, so does the body, and the men are the head. Well, that's just the order of things, whether you like it or not. It's just the order of things. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other. It just means that there's a hierarchy of order, and that hierarchy is our men. And when you guys are happy and flourishing, we are all happy and flourishing. And so we are going to be quick about this. So I want you to share about your closing remarks in regards to, you have, it's not only that this is a call for authors, that you're looking for authors, men, to participate in the all men's anthology, because this is an all men's project. And then also too, it's an international retreat. So we know, talk a little bit as you close us out, what happened in OWNiTx 2024, and talk to them about what happened there. Like, what happened when the Kings came together and began to talk in person?
Girl, listen, that was unexpected result of what happened to when men get together. We were just finished our speeches and we moved over to the segment for the King Conversation, the very first live recorded King Conversation, with about 4 or 5 authors that were on the island. And as they were talking and going through one another, one brother begins to share even more than he thought he was going to share. And he started to break down a little bit and cry. And but they all rallied around him, right? They rallied around him, and we stood there on silence and let him finish. It wasn't no, oh, are you good? Don't you? No. It was actually pretty much silence while this brother was dealing with the emotion of whatever he was remembering to try to communicate. After that situation, everybody was just, oh my God. We're sitting around on the water, we're smoking cigars, we're having talks on the ocean, and the women are coming around like, y'all go over there and listen, but you can't be right here because we about to really go at it. Even Brother Shelby and I was up on the deck and his smoked cigars. He was like, man, this project, man, how you get involved? And he's talking and he's going through it. Then I'm sharing, right? And it's not, like I got all the answers. I'm looking for answers too, like everybody else. I believe that God has given me the skill set and the ability to stand up and speak and to communicate, but doesn't relieve me of any of these other issues that we deal with as men, right? Matter of fact, I share. And because of that sharing was what happened. But that's what happened on the island. And it was powerful, which probably led to the book 2 that we're getting ready to kick off.
Wow. Yeah, and in person is such a difference, right? Like you can connect on a deep level. We've learned that through the pandemic. We had to do that. But when you have an option to actually go, because there's such a powerful transferring of energy in person that you could shift off to someone. And so, love it. Love what you guys are doing. Like I said, I'm just a logistical architect, making sure that all your needs are met in regards to making sure it's a success. This is your baby. This is you going in and doing a darn thing. And it's amazing. And I just believe that it's just going to continue because it told you. So when you were here last year and it in person, it becomes bigger because there's such a need for it that it becomes bigger than ourselves. We thought about it, but didn't realize how much it was really needed. And so I just want to give you your kudos. Like Mark said, you can reach out to Mark. You can reach out to me if you're interested in participating as a contributing writer or attending. You may not want to write in the book, but you may want to be a part of the group. I could tell you this from the behavioral analyst side of me is that you want to participate in the book because it makes the in-person experience so much more resonating, right? And total. You don't want to show up here and not be a part of the book and then wish you would have been a part of the book. You'd rather be a part of the book and then you're a part of the whole total experience. But if you don't, you can always participate. You can always come. You can always be a part of it. And you can just reach out to Mark or myself. I'll drop in the thread here the links for the information, the We Travel link for the information so that you can look at it and everything is there. And also, too, just drop, if you're looking at Mark or myself, just drop your email to us in Messenger, Instagram, whatever. Because if you Google any of our names, Mark or myself, we will come up in regards to how you can connect with us. So we're no big secret. We're definitely out there, and there are definitely different avenues of social media platforms that you can reach out to us, or you can just drop your email address in the thread. We will see it. We will monitor these videos, and they'll be coming on regularly. So just connect with us and get involved. Get involved. These King conversations are so important, and men are always looking for. I remember when I started coaching myself, and I got a coach to coach me on coaching, and she said, "Oh no, you gotta hone in on your niche. You gotta pick men or you gotta pick women." And when I said I was gonna pick the women, the men had a fit. They're like, "No, Marisa, because who's inspiring us? Who is speaking to us?" And here you now have a gentleman who is ready to allow you that space that's needed only among men. That has to be among men, and in that safe space to be authentically, unapologetically, and fully unleashed environment and atmosphere for you to do that. Because you have so much greater, and God wants to do so much more with you and your life and the life of your children. This is when you're talking about kingship, you're talking about legacy. You're talking about life changing legacy that remains even after your passing. And that's where we are, to make sure that the next generation gets handed the baton in a way that they are strong, they have a solid foundation, and that they can run with it. And so, final remarks, and we're out.
Yeah, final remarks. I mean, everything you said was 100% true, Marisa. The legacy piece. When you think about it, the conversation you're having right now with any young person in your kingdom sphere, right? Anyone that comes, they're listening to every single word. When I go to work, I'm talking to my young people. I'm holding court at the main counter, and it's whatever the boss man says. But I had to make sure I'm on point. But I recognize that all the books I've written and been a part of, anthologies, single projects, whatever, somewhere around 12 or so, those words live on forever. My kids have these books. They have all my books. And everything I've ever said to them has been in these books. They sat when I was speaking. I talk about them all the time because we talk about the kids all the time anyway. And I talk about them in such a light, and I use them as reference. But for someone who hasn't necessarily taken that step to begin that legacy, the book is the start, right? That one message that you consistently talk about the most, or that lesson that you consistently refer to, someone else needs that lesson. And this project allows you to at least start off that legacy process, because once it's down, and once we got it out here, it's out here.
It's out.
And you reverse that, and I can go back and say, this is my dad said so many years ago. I trip out with my son when he was in high school. Yeah, my dad wrote this book. He said that. I'm like, he talks about me? I figured he talked about me, but I didn't know he talked about me, right? So, but this is part of the legacy building, which you speak about. And it's actually one of our pillars is legacy building. And this is part of it. Again, getting in this project, participating will open the doors for you communication-wise. You know, how to deal more with people around you. And for other men, as we learn to really talk to one another and open up and share, I'm finding now in my OG space, in my OG era, I think I've slid over out of unk age. Somebody said I'm in the elder space, whatever. How many people are coming and asking and seeking questions, whether it's relationship, marriage, how to fix it, business, whatever. And you have to have something to say. And you do have something to say, right? Your experiences give you the authority to speak to it. I'm going to give you my good, bad, ugly of it, and you can filter out what you need from it. I don't have your answer per se. I may have some ideas or insight to help you get to your answer. And I think that's critical. And that's what this project is about. So I'm looking forward to everybody who's participating in this book. Yeah, I didn't even think that the aftermath of the first one, I thought it was you know, I'm being 100% honest with you, Marisa. It was a checklist. I got it done heart project. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. So I thought, right? God has other plans for it, because he gave it to me to do. And it got done the way I wanted to do it. People, well, girl, you should, no, this is how this is going to go. And it delivered. I walked it all the way through, but who knew the impact of people? I want to get in. Oh, I missed it. I'm like, for real? Okay, we're going to give you a second chance to get in this project. And and people are coming back, and other people coming in. And from here, if you want to speak, this is a great launching point for you, because every author needs a book. Every author needs to have interviews. Every author needs to be in the magazine. Because that adds to your credibility. Like, who are you? Like you just said, Google me. If you want to know what I do for a living, I promise you, Google Mark Wiggins, the Washington Post, CIA. Google that up, and you will find out exactly what I do for a living and where I am all the time. People don't know where I am, but that's what it is. And you can also dig a little deeper and go on YouTube, whatever. So if you're trying to do those things as well, we can help you get there to that level too. And if you need your own magazine, the person to my right or my left, however this works out, is that one. She is that one. So let's get on this King project. We have things to do and things to help our nation, and our children are in a world of hurt. A world of hurt.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing because it continues the conversation. So it continues book publication when you're involved in these other things. And so, and you are the one for the speaking and to help them to take their message beyond, because it does open the doors. Well, we could talk forever, and we could talk about this forever, because it's such an important topic. It's not just telling a story. This is a movement of transformation for men. And so I'm going to leave it like that, because we will go back in. I know we will. And so I just want to say to the ladies and gentlemen that are out there, our kings and our queens, you got to support them as they rise up. We got to be there to support them in their transformation. And so this book is not just for men once it's published, it is for the women too. For you to understand our kings, we have to understand what's going on in their hearts, and what's written in these pages will be what's coming from their heart. So thank you so much, Mark, for taking center stage and owning it with me. This is a privilege because you don't do this with me often. So I'm realizing, I say, wait a minute, me and Mark are always talking, but we don't never do no interviews. So this is really great for us to have had this chance to share with you Mark's vision for King Conversations Volume 2, the Conclave. This is the high-level meeting. Conclave is high-level secret meeting, but we're making it public to those whosoever will let them come. And so with that being said, we're out. Thank you so very much for being with us. We are going to drop the link here on the thread so that you'll be able to get all the information in regards to the International Men's Retreat and Anthology. Take care. Be blessed. We'll talk to you soon.